All right, welcome to today's Wednesday call, best part of the week. Today, we're going to go over the buyback loop. Okay, this is, I think I can safely say, the most important change I made in my business. This is what created the most change because this is the initial step that said, okay, you know what? I do need to hire an executive assistant. I do need to hire somebody to do sales and somebody to do estimating and somebody to do, the actual work on site. And this is the key that's going to enable you to buy back your time. That's why that book is up here to remind me that's essential, a very essential book. So we're going to I'm going to show you step by step. You own a trades business, or you just started, you have one, you're doing $250,000 a year. You want to 2x, 3x, 4x that. This is what you need to do. You need to buy back your time. So I'll just give you an explanation and then I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get right into it. So these are the key steps to buying back your time. One is a time audit. You set up a timer every 15 minutes. It's going to go off and you're going to label what you're doing. I'm doing that right now. I use an app called Toggle Track. There's lots of different ones, but you just need a timer. It's pretty easy. Get it on your phone, get an app and a tracking app. And this one is great because it can track, during the last, right here, it's showing me during the last 15 minutes, I was looking at my inbox, my email inbox. So then it can fill that in, but you want to make sure actively all the hours that you're awake during the day. And you do this for 2 weeks straight. You have to get into the habit. You have to make a commitment, get into the habit for 2 weeks. You track this. Then we're going to do a time and energy audit. So let's break this right down where I share my screen. Okay. Okay, you're going to get my entire screen here. I think that I can. That's what I want to do. So that you can just so you can still see me and in here talking. Oh, what I wanted to do. Okay, so let's look at a time audit, what this looks like. This is the Toggle Track app. So here I've been tracking today. Let's go back. So last week, I was tracking my time here. Okay, working on the schools group, doing some quotes, break, lunchtime, what was I doing? See, if this one I didn't fill it in, then this will tell me that during this time I spent most of this working on a quote. So I've got all these. Then what's great about this app is that we can, let's go to our reports. I can actually export everything that's going on here. This so you can see me, and I'm just going to go to a detailed report. These are all the time entries. Okay, so let's say I have all the time entries for my 2 weeks. So this is 1 week, for example, 31 hours. This is everything I was doing. Now, you know what? We could probably make a custom column, but this is all you have to do is you print it out. You actually physically, you're going to physically print this out. And beside each item, you're going to go down one by one and you're going to put a $sign. Okay, let's do this. And now I'm just going to track here and say, okay, a sync meeting. Okay, what was that worth? And your energy. So a sync meeting, how much money did that make me? I'm going to put $1. Okay, meeting with Lionel, he's our estimator. Did that make me any money? Not in particular. Well, Amazon, source steel studs, none of those things. Sending an invoice, yeah, that made me some money. This less so. Reading, yeah, reading. Maybe I got an idea from there that's going to make me money. It didn't end up here, but let's say this was a quote. Okay, so in my case, when I'm doing quotes, that's what makes me the most money. In those 15 minutes, maybe I put together a quote for $8,000 and I'm going to profit $2,000 on that. So $3 signs. Amazon purchases, no. This, no. Talking with guys, sourcing studs, no, that's a low value task. Somebody else could have done that. Okay, and now you go through your entire list, and now we're going to say energy. Okay, which one of these things gave me energy? Reading, reviewing beliefs, building that quote, emails, no, definitely not. Sending invoices, not really. I like doing my daily planner. I like sending videos on social media. Okay, which one was like meh? Which one do I feel meh about? It's like whatever. Okay, meeting with the other people on the team. Actually sending the invoices is, I don't necessarily have to do it. I could just be approving that. I feel meh about it. Okay, let's just painting. Okay, and things that drain my energy that I don't like doing at all. Okay, Amazon purchases, negotiating with people on Alibaba, sourcing materials, reviewing emails. Okay, so you're going to do this. So red, yellow, green in terms of your energy. And let's just finish adding these things. These ones are pretty low priority. Okay, so at this point in your audit, you've got this time tracking over the past 2 weeks. And we're going to go through and identify what is red and what is not making you money. These ones for sure. So purchasing, it looks like purchasing and sourcing. It's not making me money. Anybody can order something on Amazon, and I don't enjoy it. It's draining my energy. I'm just like, I got to talk to it with these suppliers. These things you have to delegate. Okay, how do we delegate? Okay, let's do the buyback calculation. Make sure this is big so you can see it. Okay, yearly revenue. Okay, so let's say my company is doing $1 million per year. The way you get to this is that 2,000 hours, that's your 40-hour work week. So 40 hours a week that's why we're dividing by 2,000. That's how many hours you are working in a year. So what is this going to come out to? 1 million divided by 2,000. That's $500 an hour. Okay. Now, let's add this. So you have the equation right here for later. Then you divide it by 4. So 500 divided by 4 equals 250. That means that my buyback rate, if my company's currently doing $1 million, my buyback rate is $250 an hour. So going back to my list, which of these items are not making me $250 an hour? Okay, so let's go through and highlight those. Okay. The quote, doing the quote, That made me more than, this made me more than $250 an hour. Right? Like I said, it took 15 minutes. I made $2,000. Well, let's just say $8,000 in 15 minutes. So that's 36,000. That's $32,000 an hour in revenue generating activity. So this is a high revenue generating activity. The rest of these, can I pay somebody else? Can I pay somebody else to make orders on Alibaba or Amazon for $15 an hour for any amount less than $250? Yes, I can. So all of these things that are below $250 an hour, I need to delegate. I painted a piece of wood. Okay. This one, I definitely need to stop doing that. And this is part of the mindset shift, because yes, I can go in there, it's going to take 10 minutes. Yeah, I got 10 minutes. No, stop it. Stop doing that. Hire somebody else. Hire another position if you need to paint that piece of wood, and just do the one that makes you money. Because where some people get this wrong is they'll delegate and they don't fill their time with something productive that is revenue generating. If I, for example, say I take everything on this list that's not productive, like meetings, ordering materials, painting pieces of wood, and I hire somebody else to do that, and then I scroll on my phone on TikTok for those 4 hours per day that I just saved, now I'm just losing money. Instead, if I spend those 4 hours making more sales calls, sending out more quotes, following up with customers or previous customers, doing those revenue generating activities, now that buyback rate has become worthwhile. Let's do another example here. Let's say your company is only doing $250 a year. Okay. That means that your buyback rate is $125 an hour. No, that means that your time is worth $125. And the reason why we divide by 4, because then that gives you some buffer, like I was talking about. Okay, we can ignore that. So this is if your company is doing $250,000 a year, this is your buyback rate, $31.25. If you go to your list, or maybe let's go back into the window here, and we'll see. In my tracking, let's look at some more of these. Emails. Can I hire somebody for less than $30 an hour to do my emails? Yes, I can. Can I hire somebody for less than $30 an hour to edit videos for social media? Definitely, I definitely can. Can I hire somebody to do data entry for $30 an hour? Yeah, no problem. Okay, so how many of these things, once I go through, how much time can I get back? And then how much more of the revenue generating activities can I actually do? Like maybe I'm recording content for social media and I have somebody else edit it. What if rather than me film a video and then sit down and edit it for 30 minutes, what if I just record it for 2 hours straight and then hire somebody to make 30 clips, and then they schedule them to go out on social media? Now I just went from producing 1 clip in half an hour to producing 30 clips in 2 hours, plus paying somebody to do it. That's how the buyback loop starts to work. So let's go into the third component of this, which is what it looks like. Make this a little smaller so you can see. Okay, so here is where you're going to audit. You're not going to see anything change while you audit your time. You will, because anything that you put your attention on, you modify. You might not want to write down, I was watching TikTok for 30 minutes in the morning during my focus session, so you won't do it. So first of all, the act of tracking is going to slightly modify your behavior, but you're just auditing. This is the part where you transfer. So now you're transferring, you're delegating, you're hiring somebody below your buyback rate, which is 1/4 of your annual revenue divided by 4. And this is where you fill. So the way that you get onto this upward growth curve is you have to fill You must fill with revenue generating activities. So maybe you are an interior designer and you're the only one who can actually build a design. You send somebody a mood board and they pay you $1,000 for a mood board. So maybe you audited, and rather than sending out invoices, you delegate that to somebody else, and then you spend that time that you got back, those 3 hours, sending mood boards. So maybe you hire an accountant that costs $1,000 a month. Maybe your profit on each mood board is $750. How many mood boards do you have to send out to make that money back to pay for your accountant and then be profitable, then be up in the green? Because what this starts to look like done over time is you're going audit, transfer, fill, audit, transfer, fill, audit, transfer, fill, like this. And now you're in this continuous upward spiral. Because eventually what's making you a bunch of money today, later, that same item, you're going to transfer it to somebody else. So you're not actually even going to be doing that anymore. Maybe right now, you're the one who does all the sales. Eventually, you're going to train somebody else to do the sales, and you're going to focus on hiring more salespeople, right? So then, eventually, you hire somebody else to hire the salespeople, and you are now working on acquiring new companies, right? And this is how people with really big, really successful businesses get there. They don't all of a sudden one day say, hey, I'm just going to change everything and I'm just going to start buying companies. No, they go through this growth phase. And if you don't have a clear system in place for your growth, this is what it looks like. Right? Does your business look like this? It's up and down. You don't know when it's going to be up. You don't know when it's going to be down. It's difficult to plan. It's difficult to know anything for sure. So audit, transfer, fill. Let's do one more example. So let's say you have just a brand new, it's a side hustle. And your side hustle, you're doing $5,000 a month. Okay. That's $60,000 a year. If you divide this by 2,000, you're going to get $30 an hour. That's what your time's worth. And yes, I said side hustle, and this calculation assumes 40 hours a week. I hope if you have a side hustle, you're putting 40 hours into it so that it eventually can become your full-time hustle. You should have, if you have a part-time gig, you should have your 9 to 5, and then you should have your 5 to 9. And your 5 to 9, that's when you really need to put your attention, your energy, your focus into that. That's what I did. I was a firefighter, 9 to 5. The hours were different, but for the example, 9 to 5, I was making $100,000 a year. But in my 5 to 9, that's my business. That's where I knew the potential for growth is unlimited. It's not like, oh, I'll wait 30 years and get a pension. No, I knew that if I focus, if I build on my business, eventually I can leave the fire department and I can make more than the $100,000 a year they're paying me, much more. So now if you divide this by 4, what does that give you? That gives you $750 an hour. Hey, well, Nick, what am I going to do for $750 an hour? Who can I hire? You can hire overseas. I've had an assistant from the Philippines, and she cost me $650 an hour. She's very capable. She can handle emails. She can do the calendar. She can submit receipts. She can send invoices. We don't live in a localized world anymore where the minimum wage is $15 or $18, whatever it is, where you are. We live in this interconnected global world where $750 an hour for somebody in the Philippines, somebody in South America, somebody in India, they're making a killing. That's really good money for them. And for you, that's a coffee, that's a Starbucks. So would you rather have a Starbucks every morning or hire somebody to work for you for an hour and handle all your emails? So that's why this is so powerful, the buyback loop. If you have any questions about this, just post it in the community chat, and I'm sure we can help you out. I do recommend this book, Dan Martell, but essentially, this is the essence. start thinking about this now. Yeah, you could read that book, but action is what's going to make change in your business, not reading more. So look at this, do the calculation, start doing your time at Audit. Toggle is the tool. I'll put a link here to Toggle. You can get it on mobile. You can change. You can have Pomodoro views. It's very, very good. Okay, so hopefully that has been helpful for you. Let's stop sharing. Okay, and parting message from this Wednesday. Your time has value. I remember I used to be the big DIY guy, and I thought I can do it myself. I'm a real man because I change the oil on my truck. I don't take it to the shop like some chump, my neighbor chump. He doesn't even know how to change his oil. I do it myself. I'm covered in grease. I'm a manly man. And it took me a long time to realize that's literally what was holding me back in my business. This is when it changed. When I was sitting at Mr. Lube, I'm getting my oil changed, and I send an email, and the email says, yes, we would like to go ahead with a $60,000 project. So rather than spending that time changing my oil, I was closing a $60,000 deal sitting in my car while the guy, some grease monkey, is down there getting covered in oil, not me. So if you still have that mindset of, oh yeah, I can do it myself, I need to do everything myself, that is literally holding you back from making the money you want to make, from having the time freedom you want to have. Realize that your time has value. Stop saying, hey, I'll paint the house on the weekend. No, hire a painter, hire some kid to paint your house, and go and do what you're good at, what you've been trained at, what you've been doing for 10 years in your career. If you don't have that yet, then you need to figure out how to monetize it, right? If you have a 9-to-5 job and you can't get more overtime, figure it out. How am I going to package my knowledge or my expertise, and how can I sell that so that I can turn my hours into time? And eventually we want to move past that, so you're not trading your hours for time anymore. We'll get into that in a later lesson, but just realize you have value. Stop giving it away for low value tasks, even if that's things like doing the laundry, cleaning your house, meal prep, right? If we go back to that chart, can you hire somebody to clean your house for $30 an hour? How many more quotes can you do? How many more sales calls? How many more connections, cold outreach, DMs, whatever it is you need to do to generate the revenue? Do more of that, do less of the low value tasks, and drop the ego that says, oh no, I always do this. I've always mowed my lawn. I'm not going to hire someone else. Oh, I enjoy mowing my lawn. How about this? If you enjoy mowing your lawn so much, why don't you cut your neighbor's lawn for free? Why don't you cut everybody on your block for free? Oh no, I just like doing my lawn. Okay, well, you don't like it that much. Okay, figure out what is it you like so much that you would do for free. That's something that you actually like. And stop lying to yourself about needing to waste your time on low value tasks. Okay, see you next week. Peace.